Good afternoon, watch lovers. Now today I have a special treat for you. Back with me in the studio today we have James. James, how are you? Looking
Always
young as ever.
Thank you.
You're like fine wine, yes?
Oh yes.
So
Take the cork out and I go bad.
So James, tell me a bit about what you've been up to last year.
Well, starting in July last year, I started work on a new book because I realised that this year, 25, is the 120th anniversary of Rolex. Now it's not an anniversary that people normally celebrate. You just kind of wait for the big ones like 100 or 125 or 150. But 120 is interesting. And so what I did in conjunction with my publishers and a whole bunch of collectors and dealers was to get together 120 really interesting and important Rolex watches, photograph them and write about them. So it's 120 watches. It's not one watch every year. It's not even 10 watches for every decade. But it's 120 watches that I think have an important role in the story of Rolex. And that's the story I tell, along with my story, which goes along with it, which is about 40 years of messing about with watches, which is perhaps not as interesting to most people as it is to me, but then I think it could serve as a warning to people. Yeah.
Can I ask you, what's a standout, if I had to ask you one thing, what do you think is an exciting period for you when things really got going here?
Everything changed for Rolex in 1926 with the Oyster. And so I love the early Oysters, and that period is to me really when Rolex became Rolex. Before then, they were just another company putting together watches in Switzerland. Once the Oyster came out, and then everything followed from the Oyster.
Wow, I can't believe, just glancing again, things you forget. I mean, early 2000s, I remember having a few Princes, but looking, they were 1928.
Princes, I mean, I don't know how far back you go, but when I started 40 years ago, the watch that everybody wanted was the Rolex Prince and the Rolex Bubbleback.
Yes, absolutely.
Nowadays, the Prince has certainly tapered off. The Bubbleback I see is starting to come back very slowly, but you could buy 4 Paul Newman Daytonas for the price of a Prince.
Quite incredible.
I mean, if you bought a Prince, people say, oh yeah, invest in vintage Rolex, you can't lose money. Yes, you can. Anybody who bought a amazing collection of Bubblebacks and Princes 35 years ago is probably homeless now.
But just glancing back, James, and I am going to sit down, have a good read through this book. I remember
because there will be a test.
Thank you. I remember coming to you, the Panerai Rolex. Do you remember? I mean, my watches go back probably 30 years, okay, to mid-90s. But I remember in the early days of getting a Panerai that was made by Rolex, the military, and I see here you've got here the 1940, and I think that's one of the watches I remember meeting up with you very early on.
Yeah.
So it certainly is a very interesting book. But even more interesting, what we're going to do is we're going to set a date with James where he's going to be in the showroom. People can come and see him. He'll do some book signings as well of the book, and people can come show us your watches, and equally you can come and see anything that we have on the website as well.
And I'll bring some vintage pieces along as well, so that we're covering the whole story of the company.
Fantastic.